Hello everyone, it's Glenda and welcome back to my channel, Creative Grandma. Are you ready to continue on your grandma's garden Afghan? Since we have our main part of our Afghan done, we're finally ready to do our Afghan border. So with my Afghan border, what I like to do is when you look at the Afghan, you notice that each block ends with the round of the antique white. So I always like to put a double border around the outside of my Afghan. So I'm just going to pull this up here. So here is the first round, and we want to give it another round of the antique white to kind of match what we already done. So for this video, we're going to start round one of our Afghan border. So we're going to start with our antique white, and you're going to need your size I9 crochet hook. So grab your yarn, grab your hook, and let's get our Afghan border started. So I'm starting at the top of the Afghan, and I still have my little papers from when I did my rows, and I marked those rows. So row one is at the top of the Afghan. So this is the left-hand corner, and we want to go clear over to the right. So I'm just going to slide my Afghan over, and we're going over to the top right-hand corner. Now I already attached my antique white to my hook, and I just tied a double knot. You can join your yarn in whichever way you prefer. So again, we're going to come up here to the top corner, and we're going to skip the corner chain 2 space, and we're going to go into this very first double crochet stitch. So again, skip the corner chain 2, insert under the top 2 loops of that first double crochet stitch, and you're going to slip stitch through that stitch and through the loop on your hook, and it just has a nice secure join of your yarn. We're going to begin, and we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. We're going to work 1 double crochet in each stitch across until we get to the joining seam. So let's get started. And this piece of yarn here, because I'm going to be working in each stitch, I'm going to work right over this end and weave it in as I go. Double crochet into the next stitch, and you want to go under the top 2 loops. Work a double crochet. Double crochet into the next stitch, and again I go under those top 2 loops, and then I just lay that leftover yarn right against my work my double crochet. Double crochet into the next stitch. Double crochet into the next stitch, and we're going right into the top of each stitch under the top 2 loops. Work your double crochet. So go ahead and work 1 double crochet in each stitch across until you get to that joining seam, and I'll meet you there. I'm over at my first joining seam. We're working round 1 of the border across the top of our Afghan. So we worked 1 double crochet in each stitch across, and you'll see here's the last stitch of the current block, and then you have a space on each side of the joining seam. You're going to double crochet into that next space, go right into that big space, work a double crochet. You're going to skip this joining seam, and you're going to double crochet into the next space on the next block. Go right into that corner space, work a double crochet. Now we're going to repeat, and we're going to work 1 double crochet in each stitch across until you get to the next joining seam. So let me get you started on your next block. So when you start crocheting across your next block, look for the first stitch of the next block. You're going to double crochet into that next stitch, and make sure you're always going under those top 2 loops. Work a double crochet. Double crochet into the next stitch. Double crochet into the next stitch. Continue and work 1 double crochet in each stitch across the current block until you get to your next joining seam, and I'll meet you there. I'm over at my next joining seam. You just worked across the second block on top of the Afghan, and now I'm going to show you how to do your joining seam one more time. When you look at your work, you should have worked a double crochet into the last stitch of that current block you're working on. You're going to see that corner space of the current block and the corner space of the next block. So we're going to start on the right hand side of the joining seam, and you're going to work one double crochet into that larger corner space. You're going to skip that joining seam, and you're going to work one double crochet over on the left hand side in that corner space. Work one double crochet. And then you're just going to find your first stitch, double crochet into the first stitch of that next block. And you're going to continue working in this manner by working one double crochet in each stitch across until you come to your next joining seam. When you come to that joining seam, you're going to work one double crochet on the right hand side in that corner space and one double crochet on the left hand side of that corner space, right on each side of the joining seam, and then start up and work one double crochet in each stitch across the next block, and you're going to continue working in that manner across to your next corner chain 2 space. So if you need help, just click back on the video. Again, work one double crochet in each stitch across each block, and then one double crochet in the corners on each side of that joining seam. Repeat that across to your next corner chain 2 space, and I'll meet you there. I'm over at my first outer corner. This is our first corner chain 2 space, and we just worked across the top of our Afghan for round 1 of the border. So what we're going to do for the corner, you'll see your corner chain 2 space. We're going to work a double crochet into that corner chain 2 space. You're going to chain 2. You're going to work one more double crochet into that same corner chain 2 space. And that's all there is to doing round 1 of the border. So now what you want to do is repeat what we've done across the top of our Afghan around the remaining 3 sides. So I'm just going to swing my Afghan around. You're now going to start working down the length of your Afghan. And my table's really small, and this Afghan's so big it wants to keep falling off the table. So sorry about that. Now the Afghan is quite large and it keeps wanting to fall off my small table. So again, I have my row 1 marked here. I can take this out now because I know where my starting point was for the Afghan border. So now what you're going to do is you're going to double crochet in each stitch across the block. And when you get to the joining seam, again, you're going to work one double crochet on the right hand side and the left hand side in those corner spaces where you can see those bigger spaces. And you're going to repeat that across to your next corner. When you get to the next corner, you're going to work a double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet into those corner chain 2 spaces. So if you need additional help on how to go around those remaining 3 sides, just click back on the video and repeat what we did across the top and then in the corner around the remaining 3 sides, and I'll meet you at the end of round 1. I'm over at the end of round 1 of our border. So when you get to the end of round 1, you're ending in your corner, and now we're just going to join with a slip stitch in the top of our beginning chain 3. Count up 1, 2, 3, insert into the top of that chain and slip stitch through that stitch and through the loop on your hook. So now I'm done with my antique white, so I'm just going to fasten off, and again I like to use those longer lengths so I have plenty of yarn to weave in. Now when I fasten off, I chain 2, pull my hook up, yarn out, grab, pinch, pull down, and it creates a secure knot. So now for round 2, we're going to change our color to this beautiful red scarlet. So grab your scarlet and let's begin round 2. So now we're ready to begin round 2. So we're back up here at the top right hand corner. So we're going to join our red or crimson color right here in the top of that first double crochet stitch. So I already have my red attached to my hook, and I'm inserting under the top 2 loops of the first double crochet stitch, slip stitch through that stitch and through the loop on your hook. I'm going to chain 1, and the beginning chain 1 does not count as a stitch. We're going to work a half double crochet back into that same stitch. So yarn over, insert into that same beginning stitch, yarn over and pull through. You have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. That's how you make a half double crochet. So now we're going to work 1 half double crochet in each stitch across to the next corner chain 2 space. Half double crochet into the next stitch, which is that chain 3 space. Go right into the top of that joining chain 3, work your half double crochet. Half double crochet into the next stitch. Half double crochet into the next stitch. Half double crochet into the next stitch, and go ahead and continue and work 1 half double crochet in each stitch across to your next corner chain 2 space, and I'll meet you there. I'm over at my corner chain 2 space. We just worked 1 half double crochet in each stitch across the top of our afghan, and now we're ready to work our corner. We're going to work 2 half double crochet into that corner chain 2 space, 1 and 2. You're going to chain 2 and then work 2 more half double crochet back into that corner chain 2 space, 1 and 2. So now all you're going to do is continue and work 1 half double crochet in each stitch around each side of your afghan, and when you get to the corner you're going to work 2 half double crochet, chain 2 and 2 half double crochet. So let me go ahead and get you started. Make sure you pull those stitches back. You're going to half double crochet into the first stitch down the next side, half double crochet into the next stitch, half double crochet into the next stitch, and you're going to continue and work 1 half double crochet in each stitch around, and then 2 half double crochet, a chain 2 and 2 half double crochet into each corner chain 2 space. So go ahead and repeat that around, and I'll meet you at the end of round 2. I'm over at the end of round 2. You worked 1 half double crochet in each stitch around, and in your corners you worked 2 half double crochet, a chain 2 and 2 half double crochet. You end with your corner, and now we're going to join with a slip stitch in the top of that beginning half double crochet. So this is where I join my yarn. This is where my chain 1 space is. So you want to go to the very first stitch, insert under the top 2 loops, and then slip stitch your round together. So I'm done with the red, and now I'm just going to fasten off. When I fasten off, I chain 2, pull my hook up, yarn out, grab, pinch, pull down, and it creates a secure knot. And I'll weave all these ends in, matching the colors across the back of my work, in and out through the stitches, back a second time, and if the yarn is long enough, I even secure it a third time by going back over. So round 2 is finished, and now we're getting ready to do round 3. Now round 3, I'm going to switch my color to the terracotta, so grab your terracotta and let's start round 3. So now we're ready to begin round 3. Round 3, we're using our terracotta, and I'm going to leave about a 5 to 6 inch length. I'm going to go back up to my top right hand corner. This is where we fastened off, and you're just going to come over here to the corner. You're going to insert your hook, and you're just going to pull your new color through. You're going to chain 1. And now we're going to start our repeat. This repeat, you're going to repeat around all four sides of your Afghan. So you're going to repeat from where I say this is the start of the repeat until I say this is the end of the repeat, and then repeat that around your Afghan. So let's get started. You're going to insert into the corner chain 2 space, work a single crochet. You're going to chain 2, insert back into the corner chain 2 space, work a single crochet. We're going to chain 1, and you want to skip this first stitch. So make sure those corner stitches isn't hiding that first stitch. Pull them back, and you're going to skip this first stitch and single crochet into the very next stitch. I work under the top 2 loops, work your single crochet. You're going to chain 1, and you're going to skip the next stitch. Now this next stitch might look like 2 stitches because we have our chain 1 where we started, and then when we joined our yarn and fastened off, it kind of splits the stitch. So we're just going to skip over that stitch and insert into the next stitch, work a single crochet. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, and single crochet into the next stitch. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch. Let's do it again. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch. So you're going to go ahead and continue working a chain 1, skip the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch. You're going to repeat that across to your next corner, and I'll meet you there. I'm over at my next corner. We just worked across the top of our Afghan, and we did a chain 1, skipped a stitch, and single crochet across the top. And when you get to the corner, you worked a single crochet into that last stitch across. So now to finish this side of our Afghan, we just want to chain 1, and that ends the side of the repeat. So now we're going to start our repeat again, and our repeat starts where we make the corner. So let's go ahead and get the repeat started. You're going to insert into the corner chain 2 space, work a single crochet, chain 2, and then single crochet back into that same corner chain 2 space. You're going to chain 1, and make sure your stitches are pulled back. You're going to skip the very first stitch, insert into the next stitch, work a single crochet. And then you're just going to chain 1, skip the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, and single crochet into the next stitch. You're going to repeat chain 1, skip the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch down the side of your Afghan until you end with a single crochet into the last stitch before the corner. Then you're going to chain 1. So if you need additional help, just click back on the video where we started our first corner of round 3 and follow it over to the next corner, and just repeat that around all 4 sides of your Afghan, and I'll meet you at the end of round 3. I'm over at the end of round 3. This is what your work should look like. And when you get to the end of the round, you should have a single crochet into the very last stitch and a chain 1. Now we're going to finish the round by joining with a slip stitch into the top of that beginning single crochet. Insert underneath the top 2 loops, slip stitch through that stitch and through the loop on your hook. Round 3 is finished, so we're going to fasten off our terracotta. We are done with that color. And now we're going to switch over to our colonial blue. So grab your colonial blue and we'll start round 4. Now we're ready to begin round 4 of our Afghan border. So I have my colonial blue, and again I'm going to leave about 5 or 6 inches, and I'll weave these ends in when my Afghan's all done. We're going to insert into the corner chain 2 space in the top right hand corner. This is where you fastened off. You're just going to pull that colonial blue through the chain 2 space, and we're going to chain 1. Now we're going to begin our repeat, and this repeat we're going to work the same repeat around all 4 sides. You're going to insert back into that same corner chain 2 space, work a single crochet. You're going to chain 2, insert back into that same corner chain 2 space, work a single crochet. Your corner is made. Now we're going to chain 1. You're going to skip the next single crochet and single crochet into the next chain 1 space. Chain 1, skip the next single crochet, insert underneath the next chain 1 space, work a single crochet. Chain 1, skip the next single crochet, insert under the next chain 1 space, work a single crochet. So go ahead and repeat. Chain 1, skip the next single crochet, insert under the next chain 1 space, and work a single crochet. Repeat that across until you get to your next corner chain 2 space, and I'll meet you there. I'm over at my next corner. We just worked across the top of our afghan. We chained 1, skipped a stitch, and single crocheted into the next chain 1 space. We worked across to the next corner, and you'll see we have 1 single crochet remaining. So we're going to end our repeat for this side with a chain 1. And now all you have to do is click back on the video, start at the corner chain 2 space, and follow along until you get to your next corner, and you end with a chain 1 and skip that last single crochet. So let me go ahead and get you started on the next side. Again, the repeat starts in the corner chain 2 space. You're going to single crochet, chain 2, and then single crochet back into that corner chain 2 space. You're going to chain 1, you're going to skip the next single crochet, insert under the next chain 1 space, work a single crochet. Chain 1, skip the next single crochet, insert into the next chain 1 space, work a single crochet. Chain 1, skip the next single crochet, insert into the next chain 1 space, work a single crochet. You're going to continue and chain 1, skip the next single crochet, insert under the next chain 1 space, work a single crochet. You're going to repeat that down the side of your afghan until you get to 1 stitch before the corner. Then when you work your last single crochet of the repeat, you're going to chain 1, skip that last stitch, and start the repeat all over again by working your corner and then working down the length. So go ahead and repeat that around the remaining sides of your afghan, and I'll meet you at the end of round 4. I'm over at the end of round 4. This is what your work should look like. Again, you chained 1, skipped a single crochet, single crocheted into the next chain 1 space. You worked that across until you got to the last stitch before the corner. Once you made your last single crochet in the last chain 1 space, you're going to chain 1, and then here's our corner, our beginning corner. So we're just going to join into the top of this first single crochet stitch. Insert into the top of that single crochet, yarn over, pull through that stitch, and pull through the loop on your hook. So now we're done with our colonial blue, so we're just going to fasten that off. And now we're going to switch over to our antique white. So grab your antique white, and then we'll begin round 5, our last and final round of our border. I have my antique white, and now we're ready to do round 5. We're going to go back up to the top right hand corner. This is where we fastened off, but we're going to skip the corner chain 2 space, and we're going to start here in the first chain 1 space. So skip the corner and go over to your next chain 1 space, insert your hook, and just pull your antique white through. You're going to start with the chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. This beginning chain 3 will count as your first double crochet. Double crochet back into that same chain 1 space. Now we're going to make our picot stitch. You just chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. You bring your hook back around to the front of your work, go into the front loop, the top front loop of the last stitch made, and the loop right below it off to the side. And then you slip stitch, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. And this creates that little picot stitch. So now we're going to start our repeat. We're going to work 2 double crochet into the chain 1 space and then a picot stitch. And we're going to repeat that in each chain 1 space across to your next corner. So let's begin the repeat. You're going to work 2 double crochet into the next chain 1 space. 1 and 2. Chain 3, bring your hook around to the front of your work, insert from top to bottom through the top front loop and the loop right underneath off to the side. You have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. You just made your picot stitch. Let's do the repeat again. Work 2 double crochet into the next chain 1 space. 1 and 2. Now we're going to work our picot stitch, chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Bring your hook around to the front of your work, insert from top to bottom through the top front loop and the loop right below off to the side, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Your picot stitch is made, and you can see how our pattern is starting to form. So let's do it a couple more times together. Work 2 double crochet into the next chain 1 space. 1 and 2. You're going to chain 3, bring your hook back around to the front of your work, insert from top to bottom through the front loop, into the loop right below, and slip stitch through all loops on your hook. Let's do it one more time together, and then you can continue on your own. Work 2 double crochet into the next chain 1 space. 1 and 2. You're going to chain 3, bring your hook back around to the front of your work, insert from top to bottom through that top front loop of the last stitch made and the loop right below to the side, and yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. And that's all there is to the repeat. So go ahead and continue. Work 2 double crochet and a picot stitch in each chain 1 space across to your next corner chain 2 space, and I'll meet you there. I'm over at our next corner. We just worked 2 double crochet and a picot stitch in each chain 1 across the top of our afghan, and now we're at our corner. So for our corner, all we're going to do is the 2 double crochet and the picot stitch 2 times into the corner chain 2 space. Yarn over, insert into the corner chain 2 space, work 2 double crochet. 1 and 2. Chain 3. Bring your hook back around to the front of your work, insert from top to bottom through the front loop and the loop directly below, and then slip stitch through those loops, and your picot stitch is made. We need to do that one more time into our corner chain 2 space. Yarn over, insert back into the corner chain 2 space, work 2 double crochet. 1 and 2. You're going to chain 3. Bring your hook back around to the front of your work, insert from top to bottom through the front top loop of the last stitch made and the loop directly below on the side, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Your picot stitch is made and your corner is finished. So now you're just going to start the repeat all over again, and you're going to work 2 double crochet, a picot stitch in each chain 1 down the side of your afghan until you get to the corner chain 2 space. Once you get to the corner chain 2, you're going to work the 2 double crochet, a picot stitch 2 times in your corner chain 2 space, and then you start all over again working 2 double crochet, a picot stitch in each chain 1 space across the next side, and then twice in your corner chain 2 space. So go ahead and repeat that around, and I'll meet you at the end of round 5. I'm over at the end of round 5. We work 2 double crochet and a picot stitch in each chain 1 space around, and in your corner we work 2 double crochet and a picot stitch 2 times in each corner chain 2 space. So when you get to the end of round 5, you're going to have worked your corner. You end with your picot stitch, and now we're just going to join with a slip stitch into the top of our beginning chain 3. Count up 1, 2, 3, insert into the top of that chain, and slip stitch through the chain and through the loop on your hook. So I'm just going to fasten off where I chain 2, pull my hook up, pull the yarn out, grab the yarn, pinch, pull down, and it creates a secure knot. So I'm going to go ahead and weave my ends in on the back, and I'll come back and I'll show you the finished Afghan. Our Afghan is finished. This is what the final Afghan looks like. I hope you enjoyed this crochet series for the Grandma's Garden Afghan. I hope this video has got you inspired to pick up your crochet hook. So until next time, everyone, stay inspired and happy crocheting.